how many times is Chuck Norris gonna save America? Just like
every time.
Horror movies, mutilation, decapitation, torture. Does that sound entertaining? More blood than a blood bank. Have we got your attention?
Welcome back, terrestrials, to the Quarantine Movie Reviews. And as it's Christmas, we have a Christmas special for you. We're doing Die Hard, the greatest Christmas movie ever made. Gremlins being a close second. I don't need to go into the plot because you know the plot. And if you don't know the plot and you haven't seen this movie, get the hell off this channel. This movie is just a day in the life of Carl Winslow.
Yeah.
When he leaves the house from Family Matters, this is the shit that he puts up with, and then he comes home to Steve Urkel. And that's why he's so angry at Steve Urkel all the time. Yeah. Since you don't need the plot, let's just get into it.
This movie's great.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Like, straight up, all the way through and through, beginning to end, it's a great movie. Bruce Willis was like a rom-com star at the time, and they were like, he can't be an action star.
Yeah, moonlighting.
And then he fucking showed them. So.
Yeah, I think there's this gap in the 80s where every action star had to be like ex-military or have some kind of military training. This motherfucker's badass because he's a New York Police Department cop, and it shows like throughout the movie. Everything he does, he open carries in a fucking airplane. 1980s open carry on a fucking plane. Welcome to the party, pal. How many fucking one-liners does this movie? It has all the It has all the one-liners in the world. This movie. Come to the coast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
come to the party.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Yeah. Have a few laughs.
Yeah.
But I think this movie also has a great, if you notice, there's these great moments of setup. We set up in the beginning, a guy on an airplane tells John McClane to take his socks and shoes off to rub his bare feet in the carpet after an airplane ride.
Well, it was because he was scared of flying.
Yeah.
And he said, I used to be scared of flying. Take your socks, shoes off, and it'll help relax you.
Yeah.
And then he does it in the building, so...
Yeah, he does it. Then that leads us to John McClane not having socks and shoes on for the whole show. Then down the line, we get the great moment where Hans Gruber realizes he doesn't have shoes. And coming to the greatest part in the movie, shoot the glass. They shoot the glass, and when he drags himself, that bloody-footed, he's just dragging it, and that looks horrible. That was like, oh my God, he really did cut his foot or some shit,
Yeah. They did a great job with that.
Yeah, but I love that buildup of something at the beginning of the movie follows all the way through for the end of the movie.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of good stuff in here. I mean, Carl Winslow's in this movie. What more do you want?
Yeah, the greatness of a limo driver. I'm just gonna chill here because I'm still on the clock.
Hey, the company's paying him. Fuck it.
Going back to what I was saying, the build-up payoff. There's also that build-up payoff on his wife has moved to the coast. He lives in New York. She lives in LA. She has taken a job where she is using her maiden name now. They play that idea that John McClane, Hans Gruber, the bad guy in this movie, knows that his name is John McClane, but she goes by Gennaro, her maiden name. And there's this great moment where Hans asked her name, and he uses Miss. He uses Mrs. And she's like, Miss Gennaro. And you can see her name right on the door. They're in her office.
Yeah.
And then, there's that one picture that's overturned. It's just like all these great moments that, the picture's overturned because they had an argument earlier and she put the picture down because she was pissed. Thank God she put that picture down because, he would know.
He picks it up later and figures it out. But
Yeah, he figures it out, and there's that suspenseful moment and stuff, Will he find out? Is there anything you can find fault in this movie?
No, the only thing that I didn't like, and I think that it was on purpose. Like they made the character so that you didn't like him. Was the greasy cokehead that's like, baby, I wheel and deal for a living.
Yeah.
Let me handle this.
He was a LA
Hans,
scumball.
baby, yeah. So I didn't like that character. I'm glad he got shot in the face.
I don't like the news reporter. Other than the idea of...
That's such a small thing to care about because it was like...
But yeah, I do know that he pays off that, they learn that his name's John McClane,
Right.
which deals with, his kids.
Right.
And they... Basically, that's what keys in Hans about, who his wife is. But I don't know. It just...
Yeah,
kind of
they
like
show the picture on the air.
yeah, but that news reporter stuff, it's just like, did we need that? Do we need like this side story?
Well, I guess it pushed the story because that's how he figures out. They show the picture on the air from the news reporter. Then Hans is watching it and he's like, "Yo, that's that bitch."
Yeah.
So, or I gotta stop saying bitch when referring to females. That's that guy's wife.
Yeah.
So,
But I think everything, we could literally do this for an hour. And then when John McClane is running by and he sees the naked lady pictures and he's like, girls, up there. And it's just so cool how quick and nonchalant he does it. And, how many people have "Now I Have a Machine Gun, ho ho ho" shirts?
Yeah.
There's just so many moments in this movie that are just iconic. Yeah, and that's what's different about Die Hard is he's not this like action guy. He's a cop with charisma. Mm-hmm. That's all he is.
well, I think that's the reason everybody fell in love with the movie is because he is not Rambo. He is just some random cop he's a beat cop that is put in an extreme circumstance and he defies all odds and he wins. It's just the same. It's the same thing when you look at like Beverly Hills Cop.
Yes.
You beat cop put in an extraordinary situation where he's dealing with bigger things than just your run-of-the-mill criminal, and he comes out on top, and he does it with a smile on his face. You know what I mean? Like those types. That's the American dream as far as horror or as far as action goes.
Yeah.
Like that's the dream. Like you want to see the little guy overcome something.
Yes.
Now we know Arnold is going to overcome. We know Sylvester Stallone's going to overcome. We know Jean-Claude Van Damme's going to overcome. Like that's what those guys set out. That's what they were. They were Universal Soldiers and Rambos and all that.
Yes.
This guy's just a fucking cop in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he didn't even want to be there in the first place. He was basically like dragged out there to see his kids, and then he's got to save this entire building from bad guys.
Yeah, he's just tired of assholes kind of deal at this point. I think this is the new wave of action, though, that comes in more in the 90s. This feels more of a 90s action than it does a...
Well, yeah, this was
80s.
right on the cusp. So
Yeah, there's just that feel to it that has more heart.
Yeah.
There's more... Like someone said, we don't need to go crazy in this movie.
Yeah, and I think that another thing is like you feel his pain.
Yeah.
Again, with the broken glass in the feet, just like how bloody and just beat down he is by the end of this movie. Like you see like Arnold take a bullet and he's like, I ate bullets for breakfast, and then like he he's not in pain. He's not like, oh, my arm when I try to use it. Like Bruce Willis is in pain. He shows his pain. It gives his position away several times throughout the movie. He's real. He's a real person in this movie. Like if this could have been a documentary, like, you know what I mean? Like it has a feel that this is a news story that you would really hear. The only thing that could have made this movie better was if he died at the end.
No.
And it's not because I don't like him or I don't like the ending of the movie. I'm just saying that would have been the over the top that would have made this like the best action movie ever, is because he saves everybody, but his wounds are too deep and he bleeds out or some shit, or the medics couldn't save him. That makes the movie like, oh my god, like holy shit, he died, but he saved everybody. What a badass, And then we wouldn't have had the other ones, but
that was just you can't. We're gonna sit here and do this. We're gonna sit here and just like, oh my gosh, I like this part, because that's what I feel like doing. That's what I feel like doing the whole time.
All right, then let's do this. Okay, let's start the movie, and then we can run the rest of the tape out doing that, and then I can cut it in.
So the airplane scene.
No, how many stars do you give it first to make sure that we get that part?
Okay,
and then we'll go back and just gush over the movie. So how many stars?
Shit, I didn't even 5 stars. It's great. I'm gonna give it a 5 star. I almost feel like it doesn't deserve stars. It just deserves it deserves star. It's like, here, you get a big star. It doesn't deserve 5 stars. It's compared to all the 5-star movies that we've ever starred 5. This one's different because of how fun it is.
Okay.
What?
Just saying. Halloween, Poltergeist, those were my 5 stars. Yeah, it's better than Rocky Horror Picture Show because Riff Raff's a dick.
No, it's that's why I think this movie deserves its own. No, 5 stars.
I will also give this this makes consecutive 5-star reviews for me. I'll give it 5 stars too. Every aspect of this movie is 5 stars. Great movie. Put it on repeat during Christmas, and there you have it. Die Hard.